Hello, everyone. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. Welcome to this very, very special edition of the Timbuktu Report. My guest, as in every week, Dr. Rick Stevenson, who is a professor of African American history and African American studies at the University of Florida's Go Gators. How you doing, Doc?
How's it going? How are you?
I'm doing very well. And Doc, look who we have. We have a young you.
Yeah, new scholar.
A scholar with us, Johnathan Obal, who is joining us from South Carolina. Johnathan, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too, Auntie Pamela.
Thank you for being on with us. We really, really appreciate that. And you've met Dr. Stevenson?
Yes.
So you, Johnathan, say again?
Very wise man.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That should be good for a raise, Dr. Stevenson.
Absolutely.
You can take this clip in with you and present it to the chair of your department, and that you have been given this stamp of approval by a 9-year-old out of the mouth of babes. So, Dr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Dr. Stevenson is also a man of the cloth, and as we do every week, we want to start out this show with a word of prayer. So if you would, take us to the Lord in prayer.
Absolutely. Let's pray together. Lord, we are so grateful for one more day, another opportunity to share. And thank you for Johnathan. We look forward to hearing and learning from him. We pray that all that we do and say will bring you honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. On this day, as things continue to unfold, we just lost Johnathan there. Charlene, I don't know if you can hear me. His grandmother.
Can you hear me?
What happened? I can hear you, but I can't see your picture.
Give me a minute. Something's going wrong.
So Dr. Stevenson, as Johnathan is getting his picture back, as things continue to unfold here in our country, how are things going with you and your classes and your students? You guys are still hybrid?
Yeah, we're doing the high flex. Actually, the class overall, both classes doing very well, but just the format. It's very difficult when you have some students in the classroom and then you have some on Zoom, and you don't get the same kind of energy in a dialogical that you would normally get in a dialogical environment. But otherwise, the papers have done well. They're finishing up their paper presentations. Each of the students have to give a 3 to 5 minute presentation on their research papers. And they have to discuss why they're writing the paper. They have to write something on an African American or a person of African descent that's in their field. So if they're in science, they got to find a scientist. If they're business, they got to find a business person. Then they have to explain why that person is important to them, why that person is important to African American studies, and then they have to give a brief historiography of the sources that they're using. So I'm trying to introduce them to journal research, primary, secondary, tertiary sources, and so on. So it's going pretty well, actually. I'm pretty proud of them. Some of the students have really placed the bar rather high. So
well, that's it's an excellent way to help them see the relevance in your classes, as opposed to I'm just going to tell you about some people.
Right, and
but
also
you go discover why these people are important, even to what you're doing, what you've decided to major in, and the contributions that they've made to what you plan to do with the rest of your life.
Exactly, because one of the theses I offer in the class is that that Black history is American history, and just because someone else controlled the narrative for 200 years, 300 years, doesn't mean that we are not invaded and put our own footprints. So I'm trying to encourage them to understand that the world economy, the world politics is directly connected to Africa and African Americans and our contributions from the antebellum period up into the present day.
Yeah, that's That's excellent. Johnathan is back with us, and Johnathan was asking you earlier about, who was that you were asking him about, Johnathan?
Bill Pickett's.
Oh, Bill Pickett. What was his name? They called him, I think they called him the Dusky Demon.
Exactly.
Dusky Demon. He introduced bulldogging.
Right.
And bulldogging is an event in the rodeos. If you ever gone to the Bill Pickett Rodeo, which is a traveling rodeo, they're black cowboys and cowgirls. I mean, if you want to have some fun, you got to go at least one time before Jesus calls you home.
Tell him you're gonna dress as Bill Pickett.
I'm gonna dress as Bill Pickett for Black History. Well, Black.
Oh,
History.
that's awesome! I just bought a brand new pair of cowboy boots about 2 months ago.
Tell him you did too.
I did too. I mean, like at least a year ago when we went to Maryland for the summer.
Did you get gators?
No.
No. You gotta have some gator boots, man.
Say, hey, tell Uncle Rick to send you some.
Okay.
Right. So, what kind of hat do you have? What
I
kind?
would have worn the little thing on
The Spurs.
Yeah, the Spurs.
Oh, you got Spurs? So then you have the low heel boots. You got a riding boot.
So Johnathan, I was just talking to Dr. Stevenson about how he was doing with his classes in the midst of COVID. You wrote a paper about that. Can you share that with us, your thoughts about COVID and homeschooling? And because school shut down last year, what grade were you in?
You were in
What grade were you in?
Second.
I was going into second.
I think so, March.
You were in second grade
you were
last year.
just coming out of second grade.
Yeah, I was just coming out of second grade.
And so this paper that you wrote, was it this year or last year that you wrote it?
This year.
Would you share that with us?
Great.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Would you share that with us?
The real struggle. The real struggle.
So yes, I'd like to share it.
Yes, I would like to share it. The real struggle. March 2020 started out
louder.
March 2020 started out on a sour note. In third grade, we are not allowed to go to school in person because of the struggle. The struggle was named COVID-19. I cried a lot because I missed my amazing friends and my new teacher. Many days we dragged around the house not knowing how to help my hurting heart.
Go ahead, turn the page.
Crying was all I could do. We had to wear a mask every day, but smiled under the mask to say hello to people. Many people were struggling to find water, paper towels, and toilet paper. Sometimes they even fought over it. How sad. It was real. But having hope was even better. It was now October. We are still at homeschooling. Homeschooling isn't all that bad. My school planned well for our connected learning and how we struggled less. Many thanks to all the amazing people in my life. Smiling is a gift from God, and I continue to smile even under my mask. Struggling, but still smiling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Struggling, but still smiling. How are you doing now, Johnathan? You're back in the classroom. You're still wearing masks. Your teachers, your classmates are wearing masks. What is that like for you?
It's kind of concerning, but at the same time, it feels pretty good.
You'll still play. You're happy.
So what is it that you're concerned about?
Like just like seeing people's face and how they react to the mask, and sometimes like they have this look on their face, just just want to pull it down.
You want to see the teeth in the smile.
They just want to smile and want people to have emotions with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
is
concerning.
So, Jonathan, what prompted you to write that paper? What was the motivation behind that paper?
Well, just expressing my emotions about COVID.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to your other friends? Are they feeling the same kind of way that you're feeling?
Yes, I can see it in their eyes, like just the way they feel, like just the way they're kind of like shaking in class. I can see them because now since connected learning has ended and all of us are in class now, some of us are shaking and kind of worried about like COVID. So like I take a shower every 2 or 3 days.
That's good.
COVID or not.
It's a boy. It's in his DNA.
Jonathan, we love you. We're trying to get Dr. Rick Stevenson up to at least that.
At least.
So, how concerned are you about getting COVID, or your grandma that we hear in the background there with you? Do you worry about that? Do you worry about her getting it? Do you worry about you getting it? Your granddaddy, your uncle?
Yes, I worry a lot. So I sometimes go out and sometimes I go out every other day to go play with the people down the street.
Mm-hmm.
So
when
I come in, either it's a shower today or a shower tomorrow, but most likely every day that I go outside, wash my hands. I wash my face when I come in. I eat dinner. I watch a little bit of TV. Well, we watch Flash. Well, that's over now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Jonathan, you watch the news. Have you been watching the news?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot, but yes.
Yeah. What have you thought about the things that have been happening with the politics, Black Lives Matter? As a young African American boy, how does it make you feel watching all of that?
Like, just really sad and other emotions, like really upset and just like the book struggle. Just like people, I see people struggling a lot. So I sometimes, because we had this thing called Leap Week at my school, and I saw some people struggling with some of the activities and some of the things that we had to do. So like, I just helped them.
Tell them about the news. You watch the news.
Right. I do watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
People are struggling.
And
people are still struggling.
And so, Jonathan.
About the vaccine.
Oh, okay. Here, I'm going to tell your mom to your grandmother to come on camera. Charlene, we can hear you as well as we can hear Jonathan. You may as well come and sit with. Yes, we can hear you as well as we can hear Jonathan.
Okay.
So, Charlene, for you having Jonathan there with you and trying to keep him engaged and not worry, how has that been for you all?
Stressful. Many days we stress out because it's just us. We go to school, to the store, and we're back home. So we're not around anyone else. And so that's been stressful. But we find a lot of activities to do aside from the news, which we live on the news. But we find a lot of activities to do. He knows I like to cook, so I'm teaching him how to cook. And just being organized and thinking and reading and staying away from the games, the laptop. So we stay pretty much engaged with each other because we just have each other. And I told him that's important. And I try not to let him go outside, but it's important that he goes out and spend time with his friends. and I let him do that. When he comes in, however, he does have to take a shower, clean himself, change clothes, and then we're good to go. And we've both been tested for COVID. And I explained to him the reason why we cannot go to the zoo and to the park and all those other activities, but we can do this right at home. And so I've had my first vaccine, and I have my second one on the 10th of March. But we've maintained it keeps us busy. We keep ourselves busy because we like being together. I mean, he's my buddy, so we keep each other busy. I never thought at this age here I'd have a 9-year-old in my possession, and just falling in love with him day in and day out. That's a struggle too.
Sure.
So Johnathan,
keeping a 9-year-old busy, okay?
Yeah, Johnathan, why don't you tell everybody who's watching? Keith Bell says greetings from Illinois. Very awesome young man. You're with your grandmother. Can you tell everybody why you're living with your grandmother?
Well,
2017.
In 2017, I was 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I was
5.
2017? Yeah, just 5 years old. And a car crash. My mom was not paying attention. I wasn't paying attention either because I was in the backseat playing a video game. She crashed into the back of a fire truck. She had to get
My mother died from a massive heart attack. That's how she died. Just from a massive heart attack. She couldn't stand up.
So how are you doing with that? With your mom being gone and you have your grandma there? How is that going for you, Johnathan?
Still pretty sad, but I feel happy.
Good. Good. So what are the things that make you happy?
Well, the way she reminds me of my mom, and, well, I'm the mother of my mom, and she's a mother of my mom.
He's trying to get it together there.
I'm the son of her
daughter.
And then she's a mom of my mom. So that's what makes me feel good.
Oh, that's precious.
That's really it.
Well, Dr. Stevenson just recently lost his mom. And Dr. Stevenson, you can testify to Johnathan that at any age, that's a difficult thing.
Yeah, my mother passed Christmas Eve from COVID.
Sorry. Tell him.
And we all had a very difficult time with it. And, I appreciate the fact that your grandmother is teaching you to cook. My father was a chef, so he taught all of us to cook. And one of the things he taught us boys was you need to learn how to cook, one, so you can feed yourself, but two, you might marry somebody who can't cook. So you can save a lot of money if you can cook when you start dating, because you don't have to go to the restaurant, you can cook at your house.
It also reminds me of my mom. She couldn't
cook. So Johnathan, back to the news and COVID. How do you think it's impacting your learning from having to come home in the second grade and now what's happening now? How has that impacted your learning?
Well, to be honest, it helps a lot. So I know what's going on in this really crazy world full of stress and not so harmony.
How is that impacting you, watching the stress and not so harmony? How are you feeling about the world that you're going to be growing up in, this United States of America that you're growing?
AKA that Mima is just going.
We need to change.
When I had a drink.
Tell her.
So my Mima gets really upset at the news sometimes, kind of often. Well, very often. So,
how are you feeling?
What was the question?
I was just asking, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Pretty impacted with all the things that are going on in this world.
Anxious.
Very anxious and all the things that are going on.
So what do you do to help occupy your time and away from that?
Well, as you know, going to school, sometimes, well, mostly like an hour every single day reading, and then I eat an hour on the TV, and then, well, I go to bed. Maybe even go outside.
So Jonathan, Dr. Rick Stevenson is, as I introduced him at the top of the show, is a professor at the University of Florida with African American history and African studies. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask him?
I do. First question is, so you said you like to read. What kind of books are you reading now? And are you reading books that will ultimately help you understand where you want to go in your future?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you reading?
The dinosaurs come.
Tell me your favorite book.
I really don't have one.
Well, don't you read about dinosaurs?
The dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. That's
Yeah.
my favorite.
So if I'm not mistaken, oh, that's funny. That's really funny. If I'm not mistaken, there were
We love dinosaurs.
at least 3 different periods of the dinosaurs, right? Do you know what those periods were?
Jurassic, Cretaceous, and
the third one has slipped his mind.
yeah.
He was so excited. He said,
What's the second one?
the crustaceous.
Jurassic is the second
Yeah,
one.
that's the Cretaceous.
Ask him if he knows the third one.
That's the Jurassic, Cretaceous, and
ask him if he knows the third one.
Triassic.
Triassic.
It's Triassic. Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous.
Ask him how many can he name. How many dinosaurs can he name?
Name as many dinosaurs. I have a little challenge for you. Name as many dinosaurs as you can.
Tyrannosaurus. That's all I know. I am not a paleontologist.
May I give you 3?
Here, can I give you 3 perhaps? Or maybe
Please. Give me 4.
Let's see. Jurassic. Velociraptor, Ethiopteryx, and Brontosaurus. And let's see. There's so many to know. Pachyosaurus.
Pachyosaurus?
Yeah.
Is that the one that flies?
No. It's the one that
Which one flies?
It's the one that has a hard head.
Oh, okay.
Argentinosaurus is one of them too. That's kind of like the Brontosaurus, but the one that flies is called I forgot.
So what kind of courses does one have to take to be a paleontologist?
Well, it takes science and math and reading. And
okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
What about archaeology?
Yeah. It has to take archaeology.
Okay.
So have you decided what you want to be? Do you think you want to be an archaeologist? Or what have you decided?
Paleontologist. Paleontologist.
So you like fossils?
Yes. And awfully, one of my friends at my school, they have found a fossil in our well, this is when COVID was not around. They found I want to say let me think. I think it was a T-Rex bone. They found it. No, wait, let me rethink this. My bad, Velociraptor. They found a Velociraptor bone in the ground of our school.
Is that right? How large was it? How large was it?
Like about this big. or maybe, yeah, this big.
You sure that wasn't for Popeyes?
Right.
I'm pretty sure it didn't have it wasn't iron in it and did not have a bone. I mean, it did not have like any steel or anything on it. It actually it was an actual bone. I'm not kidding. It was an actual bone.
I believe you, Jonathan. I do.
And for
Jonathan, go
I
ahead.
believe the science.
I believe the science.
For some reason, when we found it, it was like broken, which it was like we needed like just a little bit of glue to put it back together. But I think they like put it at the zoo or the museum. I think that's a missing piece that they were looking for.
Okay.
So, Jonathan, what advice, if you could have a conversation with the President of the United States, what would you tell him about moving this country forward, considering all of the things that are going on?
Stick to your guns. Stick with your program.
Come on, Charlene. I want to hear what Jonathan has to say.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Like you would have to if I were the president, I would obviously say, well, we have to get this man out of office before he ruins the whole entire world, or otherwise kill us all.
Well, he's already out of office.
You got him out.
If he was in office some more.
Yeah, if he was in office some more, right.
Right.
With Biden.
So,
Tell Biden.
With President Biden.
What would you do with President Biden?
Really, I would ask him for equality and check all the countries just in case people are holding secret bases for slaves or something like that. So I would most likely just ask him to do something to do.
Keep us all safe.
Keep us all safe.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so Jonathan, with race relations, with racism in this country, what do you think about how that's going?
What was the question?
How do you think racism is going in this country?
Well, about the problems that we're having with racism.
Well, it's actually going pretty bad in my point of view. Not that good.
Yeah.
Racism, people are treating other people wrong than they should be treated. This man is for example, this man is being mean to this other man that has nothing to do with whatever this man is doing. Just they're criticizing somebody for the color of their skin.
And so how do you think that's going to impact the world that you're going to be living in as an adult?
Well, I think if you don't change things and how the world just structures itself, people are going to continue to be mean, hurt other people that they should not be doing, who have no business into their stuff.
Just because.
Have you encountered those kind of racial issues in your school, Jonathan?
Have I encountered them?
The racism in your school.
Yes.
And what was your response?
I have nothing to do with whatever you're doing, and I just walked away. So I had nothing to do with whatever they were doing. I was just doing my own thing. And for some reason, I stood up for that person. And then I took what he took. So I was just helping a friend.
What happened? What happened in that situation?
Well, there was this girl named Layla. She was a Trump supporter, and she was being mean to one of my friends, Carter. He was not feeling so well, so I had to step in as a friend or a classmate, and I had to help him.
Right.
I had to stop, and I had to tell her it's not right. And we were playing tag at the time, and Layla was cheating because we all said no tag backs. We're in third grade, I know.
We're in third grade.
And so you go ahead.
Go ahead.
So you had to step in. How was that for you, having to step in for your friend? Did you think that you wouldn't?
Right.
I don't like bullies.
Well, bullies are mean, and I stick up to other people that are being bullied.
Good
That's
for
just
you.
how it is.
Good
That's
for
just
you.
how it is. Or otherwise, if they're talking physically, well, like if somebody's getting hurt physically, I will step in still, regardless or not. I will still step
Good for
in.
you. Good for you.
Pastor Royal Colbert said, "This young man will go far."
Yes, we will.
You're getting some fans out there, Johnathan.
Yeah.
So when you had to step in for your friend and you see what we're all facing today, what do you say to adults who are seeing things that are happening that are wrong and are not stepping in and stopping people from doing what they know is wrong?
Well,
Stop, they can be kind.
well, like one of my keyboards say, well, not keyboards, but one of my mouse pads say, be kind, and like love never fails. So,
Johnathan, what's a keyboard?
Keyboard. Said keyboard. Is somebody else?
you don't know what a keyboard is?
Yes, he does.
Oh,
You
keyboard. I thought he said Keebler, like the cookie.
He said,
What did you think I was saying?
Keebler, like the little cracker. Don't.
You never know. The language these kids use nowadays, you never have any idea what they're talking about.
People to be kind, regardless of your color. I'm telling you, your grandfather is white.
My grandfather is white, and he does all the right things. Well, he can't lie. I know that.
He's kind.
Oh, well, what a vote of confidence for Mr. John. Yeah, and so your grandfather is white. When you see that happening, is that like confusing for you because you've grown up with your grandmother is black, your grandfather is white, and then you see these things that are happening? Your mother was biracial. I mean, how does that? What goes through your mind when you see those kinds of things happening?
Makes me very sad.
It just makes me sad, and I just don't know. It just makes me sad.
Yeah.
So, Johnathan, do you have a plan B? So let's just say paleontology school turns out to not be what you want. What's your plan B?
Well, if that doesn't happen, well, I haven't thought of plan B.
You did say it.
Oh yeah, scientist.
Scientist.
And if plan B doesn't work, well, let's just go to being a police officer.
Okay.
We need some reform there. Maybe you can help bring about that.
Absolutely. We need people who think like you and aren't afraid of bullies in the police department.
Right. What town are you in South Carolina?
How do I get myself? We're in Colombia.
Columbia.
Okay. So Johnathan Obal, where did Johnathan go?
She wants to be seen.
Oh.
I often tell him about his uncle, George Gathers, who was the first Black police officer in Charleston, South Carolina. So I often try to show him their good police officers and their bad police officers, but I always try to show him the good things that are in people, and that's what I teach him. And I constantly teach him about how we are to be kind, regardless of how people treat us. We need to find a way to walk away from that, or to show them how we live by how we carry ourselves. And words are powerful, and I teach him that often. Words are powerful, so be careful what comes out of your mouth and how you speak to people, and that's very important.
There's an old saying that goes, words are like arrows. Once you shoot them, they won't return.
They won't come back. Well, we were taught that if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all.
Right.
Exactly. Well, Johnathan, it has been a delight chatting with you this evening. I appreciate you gracing us with your presence. Do you have your homework done?
I don't have any.
Not tonight.
What?
Just tell them this is Leap Week.
This is Leap Week, so like of all the fun things that we get to do, we don't get any homework.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
The whole entire week. And Monday, we don't even have school.
Yeah.
That's what summer was for. Did you have a leap week, Dr. Stevenson?
Not ever.
well, he's in an Episcopal school, so it's a leap week. So the activities, however, that they're doing is also a learning. It's a learning board. So they are learning through the activities that they're doing, and that is group learning, challenging them to do certain activities, and that's all still a part of learning. So there's no written homework this week.
Okay.
So they're preparing for Easter.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Of course, we didn't have Leap Week,
So, Johnathan, any final parting thoughts that you would like to share with the world?
No, just talk about being kind.
No.
Just talk about being kind.
I mean, we do have these T-shirts that say here, well, one of our T-shirts say, I don't remember, but it says, kindness never fails. Or, well, love never fails.
Love never fails. Amen.
Well, I really appreciate you being our guest tonight on the Timbuktu Report. We really have enjoyed you and enjoyed your insight. Thank you for sharing your paper with us on the struggle.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for.
He just went out?
Yeah, I think I just lost you, Johnathan.
Yeah. Your sound just went out.
You're on mute.
You lost us again?
There you go. No, there we go. There we go.
You're back.
You hit mute by
Thank you for
accident.
inviting me.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. We'll see you next time. You take care.
See you later.
All right.
See
Good
you
night,
next
Donovan.
time.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night. Hey, Dr. Rick Stevenson,
Yes.
when you see this young man and as he's talking about the challenges, what do you think about seeing Johnathan, knowing what he's up against, and your journey yourself?
I think one of the things that impressed me was that he reads. And I think I shared my story with you. When I was a kid, my mother bought me encyclopedias. And that's how I began to not only desire to learn to read, but to enjoy it. A lot of students, a lot of kids nowadays, they read because they have to, not because they want to. One of the things sometimes I even slow down the sections of my syllabus because I know some of the students are just reading to get it done. And so they're not really examining the data. They're not doing any kind of analysis of it. And so I have to walk, and I walk with them through various passages or paragraphs so they really understand what the author's trying to say. So I think that one of the things that he has in his corner is he has a desire to read. He recognizes the importance, and that he has a grandmother who is challenging him and giving him an opportunity to read. Nowadays, if you the high school diploma is pretty much not much. You need to really have a bachelor's degree or some kind of other training after high school to be successful nowadays. And reading is important because of technology.
As they say, reading is fundamental.
It's fundamental.
On another note, this is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And last week or over the weekend, they unveiled a mural honoring Dr. Patricia Hilliard Nunn. Talk about her. She was a part of the journalism department as well as the African American history department at UF.
Yeah, actually, she was one of the first persons I met when I came here. And it was interesting. We were in Dower Hall, and she couldn't find the office. And I knew about her father, Dr. Asa Hilliard. I had read some of his work, and I was familiar with his scholarship. So meeting her was just a joy. She was one of the first persons who really helped me understand some of the politics and the dynamics of UF and how to, kind of navigate my first 2 semesters here. So it was just a pleasure meeting her. She's a brilliant scholar, and she gave a presentation out in Newbury on the lynching that happened back in 1906. And my wife and I went to that, and I met her husband too, her husband Ken. And so it was a short experience. We shared dinner together one night, had a long conversation, the 4 of us, her husband and my wife and I, and she's just a pleasant person. There are some people that you meet that you like them, they're nice, and then there are some people who are just nice.
Yeah.
And that's what she was. She was just a nice person, someone that you really enjoyed being around. So,
well, if you are in Gainesville and you get a chance to see that mural, the artist who painted that mural honoring Dr. Hilliard Nunn was a young lady, Yvonne Ferguson, who's a very gifted artist here in our community. A young lady putting her gifts to use to honor a woman whose works will long be felt in this community.
Yes, and she's a filmmaker too. Dr. Nunn was a filmmaker.
Yes. She told me about a piece that she was working on.
Matter of fact, the Introduction to African American Studies course I taught last semester was her course.
Oh, is that right?
Right. And when she passed, my director asked me if I would teach that course. So I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A wonderful soul she was, and great contribution that she made to the university and to the community in Gainesville and surrounding areas. We are going to, next week, Dr. Stevenson, our guest, is going to be Dr. Royal Colbert. He is an author, and he has written a book, 2 books, as a matter of fact. And he is part of the clergy as well.
Okay.
And I think you guys will hit it off quite well. We continue to have these very interesting people who are a part of the Timbuktu Report as we work hard to bring you information that will be enlightening, inspiring, and educating.
Absolutely.
Any parting thoughts from you, Dr. Stevenson?
I'm taking my first vaccine tomorrow.
Are you?
I'm teasing people that, I've been waiting to make sure they weren't glowing after taking theirs or becoming effervescent speaking Russian. So most of my friends, they still speak English and not glowing at night. So So I'm getting my first shot tomorrow.
Well, hydrate well.
Yeah,
Before and after.
I will. And have you taken it?
I'm not in that age group.
Funny. Well, anyway, I have a tennis match tomorrow evening. I'm wondering if I'm going to be too overwhelmed to play, but whatever.
I don't know. I think probably from the people that I know who have gotten the shot, you probably don't feel that soreness in your arm till the next day.
Okay.
Actually, the movement out there may help distribute it through your body even better, and you may not feel
Yeah.
anything. You're
I'm
right-handed,
actually
maybe get it in your left arm.
That's what I'm going to do. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I serve with my right hand, so I'm getting it on my left arm. So if I don't glow, then I'll be back here next week.
That's just one. You have one down and one to go.
One down and one to go. So
So when you go to get it, do you have the option of which vaccine, Pfizer or Moderna? Okay,
I know that the one I'm taking is Moderna.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm taking it at the university.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'll be back down there. I'll be back in Gainesville again tomorrow.
prayerfully, all will go well.
Yes. Likewise. I'm hoping. What about you? You have any parting words, any parting thoughts, ideas?
Yeah, I think that as things continue to unfold, we hear about the vaccines, the variances that are out there, the mutations that continue to happen. My goal is to do everything that I can to protect my immune system. And
Absolutely.
in protecting the immune system, there's not one list of to do when it comes to your health where sleep is not at the top of the list, which I don't get enough of. But hydrating well, eating good food, putting good stuff in the body, and just doing everything you can. And I would like for people, it's apparent that even though probably just a little over 7% of the American population has been vaccinated, the rest of people feel like all is well,
Right.
apparently. Because as I go places and I see people not wearing masks,
I don't leave my house. I have 3 masks in my car, and I keep one in
yeah,
every one of my suit jackets.
yeah. So apparently there are people who think that just hearing about the vaccine will protect them.
You got to have it in your arm. But I have a question for you,
Yes,
and
sir.
this is off subject. Have you ever been to Clearwater, Florida?
I don't think so.
Well, you got to go. It is beautiful. My wife and I went down last week.
Oh, really?
My brother flew in from DC, and he was staying on the beach, and I'd never been there before. And we went to Tampa as well. It is beautiful.
I don't think I've been. No,
You-
no. I don't. Is it near Tampa?
Yes, it's about 19 miles from Tampa.
So I may have. I've been down to Tampa, and maybe who knows? I don't think. But I
Yeah,
went to some little place that was right next to Tampa.
I've never gone. I've been to Miami. I've been to Fort Lauderdale. I've been to what's the place up from the Air Force Base? I can't think of it. Anyway, but Clearwater was beautiful. And we went. Oh, there was a beach that we went to in Tampa as well. That was really nice. But if you've not gone, I recommend. It's an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive, but worth every moment.
So Pastor Colbert says it's a beautiful place, and Charlene said that her sister lived there.
Okay.
So yeah, just
Yeah.
across the bridge, he says.
Yeah. It is beautiful. And I lived in California, and I love the beaches there. But the beach we went to last week was just superb. And I
Wow.
love being in the water anyway. So
Did you scuba dive?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Well, cool, cool. Well, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Dr. Stevenson, thank you for being here.
My
And
pleasure.
Jonathan, our little friend Jonathan, thank you. Jonathan, if you're watching, thank you so much. Charlene, thank you for taking such good care of that young man. And giving him all that he needs in this very moment of, as he said, you're his mother's mother and he's his mother's child. Y'all make a good pair.
Exactly.
Everybody watching, thank you all for watching, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We do appreciate it. We will be back here next Thursday for more of the Timbuktu Report. For all of us here, our entire team of the Timbuktu Report, we thank you so much for watching. And until next time, may the light in me greet the light in you. Namaste. That's it. Thank you. You all take care. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. Don't forget, there is healing at the well.